Good morning, it's August 5th, right? 4th? 5th? 5th. It's one of those days. Um, Gonna go walk down around the south part of Wascana Centre, which I haven't been to for a while. Down around the Wascana Rehab Centre and Mackenzie Art Gallery. T.C. Douglas building. So I think I will go over to the park side first. Although tomorrow's my walking around the lake, so there will be a short, almost walking the same place. Maybe I'll walk on the bridge though. It's cloudy and nice and cool at the moment. It's going to 28 today. A lot of smoke in the air. I can feel it in my throat a little bit. If I clear my throat, that would be why. And if you see a haze, that's what's going on. Forest fire smoke from up north and out west. But there's also some cloud, I think. And in fact, I almost feel a little drizzle at the moment. I don't think that'll amount to anything. Hi, Roger. I can see the screen clearly today. And the open door currently blocking my path up ahead from that truck. Work-wise, more editing. Tangled Stars and the anthology hasn't really changed. I'm plugging away at the Tangled Stars. I've got a little over 100 pages to go of edit. Revisions, I should say. Then I'll have to go through the whole thing one more time at a slightly higher level. Polish it up for submission. As soon as it's gone, well, I'll still be working on the anthology, the Shapers of Worlds Volume 2 anthology, featuring authors who were guests during the second year of my podcast, The World Shapers, which had a new episode over the weekend, by the way, Violet Milan. Looking to see if I can go under the bridge here. It's hard to say. It's not exactly blocked. Those things are turned sideways, so maybe we can go under. Take a look at the murals here. See how they're coming along. Still working on them here. Look out. Oh, sorry. Still got some ways to go there. Oh, I should not have come this way. I didn't expect to find. Well, I was going to go up on the bridge anyway, so I step around that puddle. Oh, I don't know how much of that is fog and how much of that is smoke. I think if it was smoke, I'd smell it more than I do, so it's interesting. Well, it was a day like this that when I walked around the lake that made me start thinking about the Lady of the Lake appearing in Wascana Lake, and my Shards of Excalibur series came out of that. Because when you can't see across the lake, you can imagine anything out there. It could be the ocean. If you didn't know any better. I think that's just mist off of the lake primarily. There is definitely some fog around, but the way it's hanging, you can see the sun up there looking very pale. The way it's hanging over the water, I think it's mist. It's hanging over the creek over here too. So we'll see. That'll probably clear off while I'm walking, in fact. See, this side of the bridge is very much like the other side of the bridge. Oh, what's that? Yeah, I'm sure that's what that is. The mural tunnel is an ancient alien burial site. You know, I've often thought that. And isn't there a Stephen King book where this mysterious fog comes in and things start eating people? Could be in that too. That kind of story too. It's really hanging right over the lake. We are, of course, walking south on Albert Street, the main north-south thoroughfare through Regina. Long, straight sidewalk here with trees arching over it, but we won't stay on this. We'll go a little further in, walk by the buildings in the park. The park. Albert Street's funny. It can be busy, and then all of a sudden you get these big gaps in the traffic. Just vagaries of the traffic lights, I guess. See, all of a sudden there's a big gap in the traffic. Also, we're now past what passes for a rush hour in Regina. So we'll go over here where the legislative building is looming in the fog. And I guess we'll go this way because they've got that sidewalk missing right there. Just give that a moment, because that might be an interesting thumbnail. It's already lifting. Top of it is already less fogged than it was just a second ago. The War Memorial over there, that's the provincial one, with the names of casualties from the first and second, I presume Korean and Afghanistan and peacekeeping operations kind of thing as well. Sun's coming out now. Good morning, Kirk in Vancouver. Good morning, geese in Wascana. Good morning, crow. Caw, caw, caw. Good morning, fountain. Always worth stopping and taking a look at the fountains. Yeah, I can smell smoke for sure this morning. So I think the smoke, well, look at the haze, that's not all from the lake. That's smoke in the air. Sometimes even when you can't smell it, you can tell it's there by the color of the light. The sunlight will take on an orange cast when there's smoke in the air. So there's a little bit of thin cloud up there too, so it's supposed to rain maybe tomorrow a little bit. And right now they're showing rain on Monday. I think it was Monday. Which would be nice, but you know, long-range forecasts are, they could just as easily be making that stuff up for all the accuracy they get. They could be rolling dice and they'd be as accurate as the long-range forecast sometimes is. Why is he driving on the wrong side of the road? The first of the provincial government office buildings. This is the Walter Scott building, named after the first premier of Saskatchewan. Built long after he was gone, though, probably in the 50s. There's another door open in front of me on the sidewalk. And of course, the glass structure on the front is not original to the building. This was the accessibility entrance. Before there were just stairs, and now there's a chairlift. There's a baby out for a jog. Well, and a mother too. Tomorrow I'm just toying with the idea. I may do a non-talking walk around the lake. I've done that before. I mean, I haven't done it before. Gabe, the walking commuter who inspired all this, who walks in Manhattan, occasionally does a non-talking one. But as I've said before, I'm afraid if I don't talk and people like it better, I'll never talk again. For some reason, there's I always think of it as crime scene tape, but of course that's not really what it is. Blocking my way here. I guess they just recently replaced this piece of sidewalk. I think it's dry and I could have walked on it, but not given the opportunity. Then we get another provincial government building. Been in this one. I've been in both of them. Did a lot of work for environment department, which I think is up here, over on that corner, if I remember right. Editing some material for a big website on, what was it? Boreal forest, maybe? You'd think I'd remember, but you'd be wrong. Projects come and go. I learn a lot about topics while I'm writing them, but then if I don't use that knowledge again, it quickly dissipates. Hence my book, Genetics Demystified, which I taught myself genetics for McGraw-Hill, and I wouldn't know a thing that was in it now without reading it again myself. Well, some things that are in it. Lloyd Place, that's what that one's called. Also named after a former premier. Actually, the thing that impresses me most about myself with the Genetics Demystified book was that I also did all of the illustrations. I don't even remember what program I was using. I may have just done it in Microsoft Publisher or something like that, which is, hardly the dedicated drawing program one would normally use. I'll walk around in front of the McKinsey this time. This is the T.C. Douglas building, but I always think of it as the McKinsey Art Gallery because that's what's in there. One of the things that's in there, along with a lot of government offices, as you would think. And of course, it's named after another former premier, Tommy Douglas. The sidewalk simply ends in the street here, picks up on the other side. McKinsey Art Gallery loading dock. See, I told you the McKinsey Art Gallery was in there. Also in here is the Shumiatcher Theater, which is really a lecture theater, but we've used it for shows quite a few times with Regina Lyric Musical Theater, including both musicals, plays with music that I wrote for them. As time goes by, a love story with music and ghosts, and the music shop. So I've directed shows in there, I've been in shows in there. Lyric singers have often done concerts in there. So, very familiar space. Not much of a theater, really. Oh, good grief. This is blocked too. But, like, it has no wings, it has no decent lighting. Morning. So you have to bring in lighting to do anything interesting. So here's the entrance to the McKinsey Art Gallery. Has these skylight things overhead. That always looks like the entrance to a bomb shelter to me. I don't actually know where it goes. Now we'll continue on down past the Wascana Centre Authority. No, sorry, well, this is all part of Wascana Centre. Wascana Rehab is what I meant to say. And then come back through parts of the park. Now here's the front of the T.C. Douglas building. I like this building. It ties in nicely with the landscape of Saskatchewan. And of course, it's Tyndallstone. Basically, old seabed. Although we use Tyndallstone for everything, Tyndall is actually in Manitoba, but that's okay. And switch over to the other side to keep on the sidewalk. I have come down those stairs. I will not go up them today. And grass. There's a lot of grass around the T.C. Douglas building. In some years, the symphony is done and its outdoor concert there. Sort of late in August, that tends to happen. Don't know what plans there are this year, probably none. We had all of one new positive test in Regina yesterday, and our 7-day rolling average is 0 effectively for Regina. Still see people like the woman I passed back there wearing masks when they're walking around outside, which I don't care how you cut it. You can't find any scientific reason to justify that. But whatever, it's her face, I guess. Government and the media has done a great job of terrifying people. That's one thing they've certainly done well in response to this pandemic. So directly ahead of us is the Wascana Rehab Centre, where famously I once performed and sang "Don't Get Around Much Anymore," which was probably not the most sensitive choice. Nobody complained, but I thought about it afterwards. You know, that's the Miss the Saturday dance. Could have gone, but what for? It's awfully different without you. Don't get around much anymore. We'll cut across the grass. Thought I'd visit the club. Could have gone, but what for? It's awfully different without you. Don't get around much anymore. I'm worried if I sing the whole song, I'll get a copyright strike. But it's hard to stop. Darling, I guess My mind's more at ease, but nevertheless, I stir up memories, been invited on dates. Could have gone, but what for? I think I messed up the words because I said that twice. It's awfully different without you. Don't get around much anymore. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'll be here all week. Try the fish. Unless it's been sitting out in the heat, in which case, don't try the fish. All right, then we go over here into the Arboretum Park, so called because the city's tree farm is not too far ahead up here. I've walked through here a few times now, including in the snow, so that was a while ago. Until I started doing these walks, I had never walked here, so. And of course, the lake's right down there. You can even see a bit of downtown through the trees if you look really close in the haze. It's all paved, so a good place for people to bring their relatives in wheelchairs if they're visiting someone who's at the rehab center. They could push them out here and enjoy the parkland. There's a, well, that had water in it back right after the snow melted. It appears to have dried up completely with the warm, dry weather we've been having. You can see from the rushes expect there to be water there, but it seems to be entirely gone. Here's a little mountain view for you. You could imagine, if you tried really hard, that was the mountains because of the, are those lodgepoles? Might be. They don't look like spruce. I hope they're not distressed by the smell of their burning cousins on the air. Probably safe from forest fires right there. I don't know the history of this park, why it's laid out the way it is. The actual tree farm is kind of over there. Not so much there, but you can see a few rows of trees over there. Oh yeah, there you go. This road's kind of boring, so I'll dip back into the park. This used to be open. I remember driving along here. And at some point they closed it off with that hill that's in front of us. So I guess I should go up there because there's a piece of artwork there, which I haven't looked at for a while. I remember being in a long line of cars along here a few years ago when they had a outdoor Christmas lights display in the park here. This was the access as I remember it. Well, city trees destined eventually to be somewhere else in the city, presumably. Well, this guy's right where the artworks is going to be. Or girl. There's the artwork. It's called wrap because it's basically an I-beam with steel cord wrapped around it. This says it is Saskatchewan missing persons tree. It's an oak tree. Young oak tree, got a long way to go. Oh gee, look, yellow leaves. Probably from the heat and the dryness and not from approaching autumn, but by the end of this month you'll start to see approaching autumn yellow for sure. And in September it all goes yellow. And in October it's all gone, so by the end of October anyway. Most of our trees turn yellow, which is kind of unfortunate, but there are a few that'll go red. We don't get quite the spectacular autumnal displays that you do in, say, the Laurentians, although the Capel Valley can be very beautiful in autumn. I expect to still be walking. I may take a short break later this month. I have some other time constraints coming up. So if I quit walking for a few days, don't panic, I'll be back. All right, now we've turned the corner and are heading home more or less. At the, how long have I been walking? 33-minute point, so that's about right. There's the park over there, which I will walk through tomorrow as I walk around the lake. And looks like the fog has lifted. That was on the lake when I went by it before. Wascana rehab again. Battery's holding up on the microphone, which is good. I try to keep an eye on that since it's failed me a couple of times in the middle of a walk. Got a new one and a new charger. Hopefully that helps. There's no real indication of how much charge you have. It's just, you know, as long as it's flashing blue, it's fine. But if the mic suddenly starts flashing red, oops, you're out of charge. But first of all, you can't see that when you're wearing it on your lapel. And second, as you said, there's no warning. It just quits. should walk over there because I was here when this thing was dedicated. It was supposed to be like a tourist information site. It had panels with pictures of things, and that included, maybe it was all Science Center when they first set it up. So when I was here for the dedication, that was why I was communications officer at the Science Center, and there were panels in between these with pictures showing off the Science Center. Now it appears to just be a shelter. Nice, it's nice, but it's not what it was originally intended for. But that was 30 years ago. So things change. There's where I want to go. I mean, I haven't changed in 30 years, but other things have changed. I'm still the same dashing young man I always was. Admittedly, this is not a particularly straight route following the sidewalk. What we could do is cut across the grass here, because I'm headed that way anyway. So let's do that. That just goes to the parking lot, the road I was on anyway. Oh, there's more yellow there. I'm sure it's drought yellow. See a little bit of it in that tree, and not autumn yellow, not yet. See, that's the back of the Lloyd building that we walked by the front of up there. And here's some of that vast amount of grass I talked about. There's the Mackenzie. You get a good view of the whole building there and how it blends in with the prairie landscape so well. Big atrium in the middle. Could probably walk through there sometime. Don't think they'd object. It's public space. Even better view from right in the middle. This little path through there I've never actually walked on. Goes the wrong way for me right now. So there we go, the Lloyd building from the back. The office I visited, I think, was on the 3rd floor on this corner, if I remember right, when I was working on that environment project. Might have been the 2nd floor, wouldn't want to exaggerate. Wouldn't be a Walking in Regina tour without a tour of a parking lot, so here's one. Muster Point. Now, there's no good way out of this parking lot. I know that too. There's no sidewalk that leads you out of it. So you have to go through the bushes somewhere, like over here. Now we rejoin the sidewalk we were on before. But I don't want to walk the same way I came, so we will go up to Albert Street. I think. And I think, because I rarely do it, I'll walk just down this side of Albert Street, down the long, tree-lined sidewalk, till we get to the bridge. I should walk right down the middle. Attractive, a little dull. Gives you a sense of how fast I'm walking, I guess, as the trees go by. Of course, I've walked by these, some of the lovely old houses on the other side of the street, like that one. Walter Scott building there now, we're going by again, just a little further away from it. This has been a pleasant temperature. Doesn't mean I'm not sweating, because I am, but I also feel cool, so, well, of course I always feel cool. I mean, I'm at the top of the geek hierarchy, published science fiction author. Bow down and worship, fellow geeks. Yet I still have to pay for everything everywhere I go. I don't get it. Straight as an arrow. The cleverly named Avenue A. Guess they didn't want to waste a person's name on one little block here. The fountain that we walked by is over there. There's another block of this before we get to the bridge. Caragana is to our right, mingled in with the trees. Don't know what kind of trees these are. I don't think they're elms, but I could be wrong. Just younger than the ones on our street. They don't grow quite like the elms do, I think, but oh well. I could look it up, but see, elms don't split like that low down. Typically, they go a bit higher. But I could be wrong. I am not, triophile? That wouldn't be it. Aborophile? That goes both Greek, I think. Hey, I think that's the first dog walker I've seen. This is unusual. Usually they're all over the place. Or was there one back by Wascana Rehab? Maybe there was one back there. Still, fewer dogs than I normally see. Guess I should wear my rider jersey tomorrow if I go out. First rider home game is tomorrow night, but we're not going. We sold our tickets. And we gave away our tickets for the one after that, so first one we might go to is still some weeks away. But I hear the home opener is sold out, so good for them. They're in pretty dire financial straits, as is everybody in the CFL after the pandemic effect. I'm going to go and walk down by the lake here instead of crossing the bridge again. Besides, I don't think I've walked along this little piece of land. As you can see, many bicycles have come this way. Not mini bicycles, but many bicycles. Yeah, the haze is, now it's just smoke, but that morning fog is definitely burned off. At least is almost gone. Might be a little bit of it left. What that crane is doing over there just above the fountain. Oh, that'd be for the swimming pool construction. So tomorrow around the lake, hopefully it's clearer and bluer, but no guarantees. Albert Street Bridge from the outside. Oh, somebody just said hello. Yeah, the weather's not bad except for the smoke. It's reasonably cool right now. Going to 28 today, which is not horrendously hot. We'll take the crosswalk because there was a big puddle down by the tunnel. Tomorrow I'll have to decide which way to walk around the lake. I've been walking counterclockwise just because I was forced to walk clockwise for so long. And I do kind of prefer that. So probably I'll stick to that direction tomorrow. Big puddle, but that's not from rain. It did sprinkle a little yesterday, but that's about it. That's from the sprinklers. And here's Speaker's Corner. See the provincial crest there on the end of the bridge. Oh, that didn't take long. Expected to wait much longer than that. Oh, there's some yellow up there too. Again, must be drought, not fall. It's barely August. Though there is a saying here, normally this would be, or the last weekend even, would have been the Regina exhibition. And there's a saying here that summer is over once the exhibition is over, which would be this weekend if that were the case. Yes, I saw, being asked if I've seen any pelicans. There was one on the usual rock on the creek side of the bridge, but I just didn't point the camera at it this time. That's the only one I've seen today. Last week when I walked around the lake, there were 4 of them under the waterfall on Pine Island, among other places. But I wasn't really around the lake today except for that last little bit there. Guess he changed his mind about which way he was going. Let's take a walk past the nice garden that the people in the community have put at this end of the boulevard. The sunflowers are getting quite tall, as they do. There's also a smaller breed of sunflower. Not sure what that is, crawling up the trellis, not Telus. Telus is the Alberta phone company. The ground is sticky in a lot of places. The trees have been putting out ridiculous amounts of sap, and I guess maybe that's been related to the heat too. I don't know. My car is sticky to the touch. Windshield has to be washed before you can drive. You can't see out very clearly. And it's not something that doesn't happen every year. It just seems to be going on a lot longer this year. But we're notoriously bad about remembering things like that and what other years were like. It's like, oh, it's never been this hot. And then you look and you see, well, yes, it was. Or last year I don't remember it being like this. And you look and it was like whatever thing is that you don't remember it being. We don't remember weather very well unless it's tied to a specific... Oh, there's some choke cherries. There's a reason they're called that. You wouldn't want to eat them. So I think those are choke cherries. It seems to be a good crop of choke cherries. Any small red berry, I call a choke cherry. Maybe those are edible, but I doubt it. Yeah, these ones are orange. The others are red. I mean, we get red berries on the tree by our front door, but that's a mountain ash. That comes quite a bit later in the year. It's kind of a fallish thing when they show up. We have something else in our yard that drops little round black fruit. I have no idea what it is. I do have an app, I think. You take a picture of a tree and it tells you what it is. I should try that. See what that thing is that drops the little black berries, which you then track inside, which is very annoying. Like if you leave your shoes on, you'll track those things inside. And they leave a mark. That's going to leave a mark. All right, well, we'll stop here. So thank you for walking with me, either live or if you watched the replay. And I will be back tomorrow. Bye for now.